what happened with me with this message was like anything, everything else, there was a hearing of it, but I left as the hearer of it. And uh I did not know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I thought
Are you
where
laying
I was
down?
looking from was,
No, I was just texting.
hold on, we got some people. I
Cover
just
here.
assumed where I was looking from was where I was looking from. I didn't see that as maybe manufactured, yes? And then I heard it, uh, well, I felt it, and then I heard it there was a book by a guy named Trungpa Rinpoche called Cutting Through Spiritual Materialism. And Rinpoche was an alcoholic, I think, as an action figure. Yeah. And I thought it was pretty interesting, a Tibetan alcoholic. And uh, and it doesn't matter really what the condition of the action figure is. Something may use it and something comes through. So he wrote this famous book, was pretty cool. And the first page, he warns everyone of this, but he called it the ego, that the ego is going to take advantage of anything that it's brought into contact with. Yes? That was quite interesting. Yeah. I didn't know, I didn't know that there was an activity before I start that was claiming the living and the hearing and the seeing and the feeling and the tasting and touching. Had no idea. Had never heard it either in a lot of the spiritual pursuits that I was introduced to. Yeah. It was just assumed that you were you. Yeah. Now you were motivated to be a better you or a transcendent you or an authentic you, but it was sort of like just a presupposing that was assumed quite strongly that yes, okay, Paul, you start with Paul, and then you try to get, bigger Paul, better Paul, authentic Paul, whatever. I had no idea that, in a sense, I start late in time. Yeah. The idea of me and the consciousness that gives me that idea, or allows that idea to come up, comes after uh, the claiming of the existence, let's say. Yeah. So suddenly the I am is claimed, and then it's I am Paul. Yeah. Wow. If you don't know that anything's going on, how are you going to see it? Yeah, you got to sort of, especially this one, because it has you starting, like Ramana said. And one of the things I read a few of his peoples who wrote books on his stuff, and some important things would be in each one's take. Yeah. And one of the most important, and he would emphasize it, it would either be the problem, the greatest mystery, something like that. And this one, he's talking about what's happening in time before we start with time. Yes. So, and what's happening is there's a presupposing. Pre is incredible because it really implies a lot of time, doesn't it? Something is before something else. That can only happen in time in a way. Yeah. Yeah. So there's a presupposing or a pre-assumption of a non-existent thing being an existent thing. Yeah. And that's the body, obviously. The body is a non-existent thing. Have you ever seen a thing that you called somebody's name and then they passed away and then you see that thing and it's obviously been revealed it's a non-existent thing? Yeah. Whatever spirit or consciousness or existence that was enlivening that non-existent thing uh, was what you assume to be Paul and Jim and Steve and Mary. Yeah. So once you have an event that maybe someone you knew as a thing, you see the non-existent thingness of it. And what's left after you die is the non-existent thing. Yes. In other words, something ends in you, but the non-existent thing doesn't disappear. Yeah. It's just there, but it's inert. It's just, and there's a large business of what to do with the non-existent thing when it's dropped on your lap because you're a family member or something. Sometime, burn it, funeral pyre it, bury it, yeah, donate it. There's a lot of stuff, but those eyes in that non-existent thing ain't seeing anything, not hearing anything, not feeling anything, not touching, not tasting. Yes? So the presupposing of this non-existent thing to be the existent thing. So the mental state there's a mistake. Yeah. And it takes the thing to be that which is conscious. Yeah. Yeah. And then we start. And we started late because you were not conscious. You were conscious before you became conscious as Paul. Yeah. I mean, most people don't have memories of their second day seemingly alive in this dreaming. Yeah. So when they came about, there was no there was no Paul. Yeah. There was, you don't even have memories of any of that. Yeah. And then something happened where that you became not only conscious, which you were as the baby, but you became self-conscious, which now Paul showed up. Yeah. This idea of Paul. And the idea of Paul is synonymous with the body, obviously. When the body's vocal cords make a noise, you say it's your voice. Yeah. Yes. I mean, this is not your voice, literally. It's the voice from the vocal cords of this non-existent thing. Yeah, really. So this non-existent thing is presupposed to be an existent thing. Allows that is the consciousness. We become conscious, and then and then there's a self-consciousness of that. Yes? Yeah. And it says, okay, if this is the case, so and then for people in our world, that existent thing, which is a non-existent thing, wants to seek salvation. That's the like maybe the nobility of being this existent thing is to seek salvation. Yes. All right. He says this is probably the case because this happens before we show up in a way, this whole thing. Yeah. We show up at the point, not at the non-existent thing point. We show up as the existent thing. So we are of the trick, the magic trick. We're not seeing the magic trick. We are this, we are when that flower blossoms, that's us. Yeah. So if this is the case, your spiritual practices themselves, yeah. Now go over some of those in your head right now, if you like. Spiritual practices themselves are reinforcing the non-existent thing as the existent thing. Yeah. How are they going to destroy it? So really, without knowing it, you're wanting to get out of something or to get into something is reinforcing the idea of the out and in. Yeah. And really, the prison isn't uh, being in prison, it's trying to get out of prison. Yeah. The out is what really binds you, the movement to keep getting out. Yeah. When you find acceptance and surrender, let's say, and you suddenly throw up your hands and really become what you're not, it shows you you're not it. Yeah. That's not you. It does. Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, what's one to do then? So if I make a move, it could be without me knowing it, it definitely will be reinforcing the non-existent thing as an existent thing. Now, that same move with an awareness of it, it neuters its movement. Yes. The claiming is just an act of claiming. Nothing is truly claimed. It just implies it. Yeah. So when it claims the seeing and calls it the seer, that's all made up. The seeing hasn't been claimed. There's just the claiming of it. Yeah. And then our belief goes into the belief that after the claiming of it, we are the seer. Yeah. As this non existent thing. Yeah. I think this is valuable to see because I know nothing really worked. And after I blamed myself, I saw that maybe it's structural, that's nothing working. Uh, After the non-existent thing is taken to be the existent thing, it's just, it seems everything I do seems to reinforce it instead of getting me relief from it. Yeah. So I realized the futility of that. And then there was the recognition that I'm not going to change anything. I'm just going to see it. And in the awareness of it, it a lot changes. Yes. Yeah. So we have a saying here, and it came out of just observation that if you don't see this or become aware as this of this, you're going to be looking from it. You're going to be looking from this manufactured uh, idea of being a living, existing thing when we are truly, as this, a non-existent thing. We're not. This is nothing other than a non-existent thing. Yes? Yes. Does the toaster live as a toaster without electricity? Is it toasted in anything? No, of course not. But when the electricity is taken off, there's the toaster, yeah? In name only. So this head, uh, this is how it fell for me. I went to satsang and I read certain stuff, not that much, but Ramana, yeah, and I probably read him more than anyone else. And then the Course in Miracles. And I like this guy Huang Po a lot. Yeah. Some of the things they said that were put into print triggered like avalanches where I was sitting. And then stuff got revealed. And one of the greatest results of it is I realized uh, the liberation is from the need to be liberated. Yeah. That's to me is the working liberation here. You lose interest in becoming, and then you obviously find out your being. Yes? You lose interest in all the becomings. There's a lot of them. Yeah. I mean, I've watched stuff and the assumption that never gets questioned can go way out, you know. I'm gonna go get this with that, on and on and on and on. Yes. You have an idea that you can be somewhere else and whatever. It just goes on and on and on. And there's millions and millions of people sign up for this stuff. I was just watching something on YouTube. They had over 1 million things, million people looking in on it. And it was like another process of you're gonna get what you want and more of it. So in this message, you're gonna get nothing. And you'll end up very happy about it. Because if you take yourself to be what the head takes ourselves to be, uh, that urban renewal project never ends. Yeah, it just uh, the self-consciousness of it is unbelievable. Yes. We say something in AA, you know, you're not much, but you're all that you think about. It's sort of like that. Yeah. So you have to realize, obviously, there's an inordinate amount of interest and attention in a life that's called yours and you, yeah. And the idea that you may be a sensitive artist, but you don't give a shit about any other people's sensitivities, that to me is not being sensitive. So I listened to satsang and it opened up, it took out see, the interest and attention that was locked in the mental logic got called out with the non-duality message, yeah? Because every time I heard some of it, it was like a German shepherd trying to understand what the owner was saying. It was awesome. And I realized the limited, actually failed system of the mental logic, yeah? When you're in it, it makes sense. When you're out of it, it is insane. It's insane. So the non-duality didn't come into the system. It drew the attention and interest out of it. Yes, and that interest and attention gave me the eyes to see the system. Yeah, and that's the beauty, I believe, of an understanding or an invitation. It will bring out the interest and attention out of this orbit, and then you'll see the universe and the constellations that have been imagined by this head. Yes. Yeah. And then all those demands are dropped, and all the I have tos are a lot of the withholding and the requirements that you live under are just you're released, not as a body that may be expressing it, but there's a releasing, yeah. And then the marathon runner gets out of the closet, so to speak, yeah, stretch its legs and stuff like that, and then more gets revealed. I haven't gone to a revealing seminar in 30s, I'd say, I don't know, 26 years, maybe 30 years. Yeah. And yet there's a lot of revelation all the time. I do not believe life is dry of revelation. Yeah. You just got to stop looking for a lot of shit. And stop looking for it doesn't mean you stop looking for it. It means you see you're not the you that keeps looking for it. Yeah. Because the you is going to keep looking for it. Do not try to send it to behavioral college. Life will, if you're insane like an addict. I had to be, other people had to step in and manage my life. It was that chaotic. I'm talking about on another level. Yeah. The movement towards, obviously constantly moving towards something or moving away of something, uh, is the dilemma if you are what you're looking for. If you are the statement of Ramana Maharshi, and like let's say in politics, I like Bernie Sanders, yeah. Got very disappointed when they torpedoed him because he was saying the same thing for 40 years, yeah. So I really like Ramana Maharshi. I feel I have a great amount of respect for him. I never met him or anything. So when he says something, my ears perk up and I sort of think, all right, yeah, if he was anywhere close to where I thought he was, when he says the greatest mystery, I'm going to sit and stop and listen because obviously I'm in a state of I don't know most of the time, thinking I know a lot of shit. And so he said the greatest mystery is being ourselves reality. Uh, uh, Being ourselves reality is reality wanting to attain reality. Wow. If every movement is born of one movement, I would say that's the one movement everything is born of, which is not recognizing being ourselves reality as our true current state, not arrived at, not one, not meritocracy, just because that's the fact. Yeah. Then a movement away from that initiates all the other movements. Yeah. Where in the course it would say, who believes they're in the act of denying what they are right now? But the Course in Miracles says that is actually the moment many of us are in. This moment, the head is actively denying what we are. Yeah. And firm in faith in something else that it has made to be ourselves. You hear that? It's very cool. Active denial of what you are. This is a dualistic movement. Yeah. So one part of the movement is an active denial of what you are. The other part of the movement is firm in faith in there's something else that I believe. It says you made. I don't believe you make it. I believe the head has made it. Yeah. So there's something else the head has made to be ourselves. Yeah. Isn't that incredible? Do you believe you can see that? Yes. Why? Being ourselves reality. Nothing is before us. Nothing is before us. At that point, there's nothing looking at that. Being ourselves reality is the last stop on the block. Yes. And then there's a seeing from there. Yeah. So from seeing from there, you see what comes after. And what comes after is of time. And we are not of time. So when the head is telling me, all right, Paul, we're gonna go to another seminar, stuff like that, it's obviously not you, because being ourselves reality, you would probably wouldn't go to another seminar about reality, obviously. Yeah. So what wants to go or thinks it has to go must not be you. Being ourselves reality. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that a beautiful scale to put shit on and see how it fits? Yeah. What a statement. Being ourselves reality, reality wanting to attain reality, that's what we're doing in a sense, is the greatest mystery. The greatest mystery of all mysteries is reality is trying to attain reality. The dilemma or the misunderstanding is there seems to be a Paul and Steve or a Mary in there, but there really isn't. Yeah. Being ourselves reality is right now, every now, being ourselves reality. It's an infinite verb, being. Yeah. It isn't wasing or is going to be, it's now. Right now, liking it or not, thinking it's true or not, doesn't matter. The statement is being ourselves reality. And from that statement, the greatest mystery is reality, aka Paul, wanting to attain reality. Yeah. This is what they tell you when you're getting released from your own prison. This is what hits. Yes. This is what hits. And you're not going to be a second time or third time offender. You're going to lose interest in looking for what you already are. You are. Yeah. The seeking is going to take a big hit. Yeah. Because you've recognized you are what you're seeking. So the seeker and the sought is shifted. Now the seeker is the sought. Yeah. So how far do you have to go and how much time do you have to spend if you are, as the seeker, the sought? It's not, you're gonna be the sought if you do all these requirements. That's where the head uses time. It gives you, okay, yeah, you can become the sought. You can. You can. And actually, you maybe was once the sort, but you are definitely not now. And you're going to have to do a lot of shit to become it again because you really fucked up, like the guilt of the Course in Miracles. Yeah. You've split from the Godhead. Whoa. Yeah. That's lot of requirements are going to be needed to complete to become the sort, but the seeker is the sort now. Yes. Isn't that beautiful? Don't you feel like those fucking imaginary weights on your shoulder just dropped? Yes. Jesus Christ, call off the dogs. This is not a hunting party. You're not seeking fucking uh enlightenment. You may be, you wouldn't know it if you fucking ran you over. Yeah. In the mental world, enlightenment is used to cause suffering. Don't you see it? Most people would have been happier that if they never heard the word awakening. They would have been having a better day in Novato, just doing whatever they needed to do without this looming pressure of having to become awakened while always already awake. It's insane. How many times can you wake up? Don't you? I humbly believe we're all awake, like it or not. Awakeness is it. Now, you can uh, you can live as if that's not true, and you can live as if it's true, but it doesn't change the fact that there is awakeness. Yeah. Now, it may not be a fact in your imaginary life, yeah, because this place is a subjective experience. So everything can seem to be true or false to you. So when awakening can be seen to be false to you. Yeah. And this is the reality, and so on and so forth. Yeah. And then shit may happen. And then you may find, wow, now it seems to be true to me. Awakening in it is, yeah. But the fact of awakeness hasn't been altered by all the shenanigans of its absence and then its found presence. Yes. It's before all of our little activities. It's never touched by the shit we do. Yeah. The doing comes later. The being is here. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of doing and having, but you can't have what you're being. Yeah. So doing comes under a very healthy suspicion. Yeah. If I want to get a piece of the pie in the refrigerator, I have to get up, do something to have that pie. Yes, that's how it looks like for a lot of things, but not in this point. Yes, because you are already what you're looking for. Yes, you're before the having and then the losing. Yeah, yeah. Isn't it beautiful news? Let's see how many ways I'm okay today and how many ways I probably won't be okay tomorrow. Thousands. You can play the mental card game all day. Solitaire, just pulling the shit out. Yeah. And hoping to find a stability in a place that's not stable. Why not realize you are the stability in this place that's not stable? As Jesus says, you're in this world, which is constantly one condition dependent on another condition, on and on and on and on, but you're not of this world. Yes. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. It's so beautiful. You can't be understood by the head. You can't be comprehended by the head. You can't be had by the head. You can't be experienced by the head. That's why it's so beautiful. Look at what the head does with everything else it can understand and comprehend and experience. It fucking uses it to reinforce the story. Yes? It can't do this with this. This is the beauty of it. It's like that coyote in the desert sees the tortoise, know there's meat, and then starts running around it, and the tortoise just sucks in. The coyote gets disinterested in a few minutes. Yeah, this is the beauty of nothing. It can't be made by something into something else. It's beautiful. It stands alone in all the worlds of all the somethings. Nothing, just pulsating. Yeah, it's beautiful. That's why I don't believe when people call me and they want to use non-duality as a skillful means. I said, forget it. It's not good for that, really. Yes, it's about changing the whole ball game before, not even changing the whole ball game. We have people, and I understand they come in and they're like, I want to apply non-duality to this situation I'm in. Good luck. Yes. It's not a BALM. Its healing is different. It's not applied, it's already so. It's incredibly different. Yeah. So, all right. Should I read the stuff I always read? I think so. One more time. Where is it?
Darshan has his hand up if you'd like to take a field of
All right,
question.
John, come on. You saved a lot of people. Repetition.
Come on in.
One,
What's
thank
up,
Don.
Paul? You can read the thing if you want. I don't mind.
Thank you, Darshan. And then you can come back in everything. All right. So please bear with me. This is we show this. This is the comprehensive library of Zen Bitch Slap. There you go. You got where is it? I can't even see myself. It's one little paper, not even full either. And here you go. I'm going to start with this one because we have some new people, I think, here. Actually, it's the old folk that really need to hear the motherfucking shit. Yeah, that would be helpful. There is no greater mystery. Wow, this is coming from Ramana Maharshi. He's like the godfather of non-duality. I mean, seriously, this is like there is no greater mystery than this, that being the reality ourselves, we seek to gain reality. To drive this engine of seeking to gain reality, we think that there is something binding our reality or keeping it from us as if it's a thing we're going to get. Yeah. And that it must be destroyed. If you follow this logic, you end up as the thing that has to be destroyed. This is why everyone likes a very slow walk in a spiritual path because there's a huge crash of cognitive dissonance. You have to be destroyed to get it. When this is why you feel great when they go, it may take lifetimes. You're like, whew, oh, all right. That it must be destroyed before that reality is gained. It is ridiculous. Wow. A day will dawn when we will ourselves laugh at our own efforts. That which is on the day of laughter is also now. Yeah. Here's the other. It is false to speak of realization or realization. You ever read Ramana? He says real it says that which we're trying to realize is always realized. Yeah. So you're not going to realize what's always realized. He's going to change the view, which is cool. He says, it is false to speak of realization. What is there to realize? The real is as it is always. Wow, the big R real. The real is as it is always. How to realize it? Pretty interesting question. All that is required. Wow, all that is required. There's going to be 800 requirements, but that's not much, really. 800 requirements. No, all that is required is this. We have realized the unreal. What the hell? That is the view of non-duality. The assumption is true that you are reality, and now you see that which was taken to be real as unreal. That is the only requirement. All that is required is this. We have realized the unreal. See, we regard it as the real, the unreal. Yeah. Non-duality brings that into the light. And I'll tell you, if you've had an unspoken yes or an aha, you are 4 feet into the tiger's mouth. Yes. The digestion system is pulling you in. Oh, my dog is howling. Very cool. The sirens of I wish you could hear it. It's only the fifth time in her life I've heard her do it. Oh, it's so fucking tasty, isn't it? It's oh. Now in life, the interpretation comes after the seeing, the hearing, the feeling, the hearing, especially right now. Yes? It's not seen to be before, it's in its rightful place. The mental state reacts to the living. You are responding to the living. And part of that responding to the living, you hear the head react to the living. Yeah. Instead of starting from that interpretation, you are before the interpretation. Yeah. That's exactly what it's like traveling after hearing this message. Yeah. You've noticed that the interpretation took the place of the living. Yeah. You were unconscious in that claiming of the seeing and then presented, and then you became conscious as the seer. Yeah. That is the interpretation of this event. You are the acting out of the interpretation of this event, and the body represents the acting out of the interpretation of this event. Yeah. Yet you are before the interpretation of the event, and you are still before the interpretation of the event. You are going to hear the interpretation, but it's going to come after the response to the living of things. Yes. Hallelujah. The cart is the horse is in front of the cart instead of living as if the cart was in front of the horse. It's always been the horse in front of the cart, but you and I can seem to live as if the cart is in front of the horse. This place is dreaming. Yes, it's a subjective experience. The head is making tons of shit up. Yeah. You don't know how the wind's blowing, but you will if you are before the storm. If you're in the middle of the storm, you're gonna fucking try to take shelter at any refuge that's offered, a drink, a drug, a smoke, or something else. You're gonna be driven to take refuge, to get out of the storm. But what would happen if you saw it before the storm? Yes. Why someone who is sitting before the storm is not signing up for all these fucking shit things on YouTube or whatever. Another seminar of 8 weeks to get better. As what? Yeah. But if you're in a storm, you have to do almost anything to try to get some shelter, won't you? Shit. Yeah. Well, all right. Thank you. All right, Darshan, come on in. I mean, you've been knocked out already, didn't you? You've been knocked out. How can you withstand that 1-2 punch?
Yeah, there's not too much to say.
Yes. Hi, Dawson. Come on in. And yet we say that's the interesting thing. There's not much
Yeah.
saying
No,
than saying. Great. That's how
it
it goes.
it's nice to hear you like get off to the message like for like an hour every week.
Well,
Um,
good. Good. Well, yes.
yeah, I just want to share my appreciation because it's nice to just hear a message where there's no hope and there's nothing to do and there's no movement and there's no wiggle room because I feel like you can hear so many messages and then it leaves some like room of like arriving or hope or I'm going to get somewhere, I'm going to get something.
Yes. Yes.
And I feel like the sooner you just completely squash that hope, it's like possibility for what's always been there to like really land.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's nice to just I've been like listening on and off for like the last like year and a half every now and then. And yeah, I just wanted to share my appreciation for the message and everything you do and everyone who comes. It's awesome.
And the thing is, it's beautiful. You don't land because we've never left. That's the thing.
Yeah.
The
There's
land
not
is like a
there's
balloon
nothing
at
there's
top.
like you know, it never feels like anything. Or I guess how it feels to me is like you never got anything because you already are it. So it's like
Yes,
anything that reacts or notices, or you know, it's like the only thing that's keeping notes was never you. So then if you lose interest in that, then what is there to say?
yes. And the thing is, uh, time cannot catch timelessness. It can't. It cannot get it. It only sees it from the after, and it's got an albatross around its neck, which is it thinks it's the before. It believes it's the starting point, and it isn't. Yeah. There was a guy, an old Zen, you know, it used to be called Chan in China. And this guy would walk, he'd go around and he would say, his little take was, "We are the unborn," you know, like Nisargadatta once said, "What were you 10 minutes before you were born?" Yeah. So
Mm,
he would say, "We are the unborn." Yeah. And he used that little trick. And there's all these characters have always been trying to trigger something that's readily there already. Yeah,
mm,
it's not like putting anything new in. It's triggering something that's before all the knowing that we've attempted to acquire. And just to trigger the avalanches of like mental mountains uh triggers a sense of the space that those mountains appeared in. Not all the attention on the size of the mountain, but the space. It's like this thing, a famous Zen saying that we feel like they lost the first stanza, which is the most important stanza in my view. And it was a simple, the way it went when I heard it was first there is a mountain, then there is no mountain, and then the mountain appears again. Yeah. So,
yeah, but you got to start with first there was no mountain.
yeah. So I believe
I heard that one a
starting
few
with
times
first
now.
there, there you go, Boston. Exactly.
No,
It
you can run it
changes.
back though. I'd love to hear it again.
Well, it changes everything
Yeah,
because the effects of the mountain and wanting it to disappear and then having that and then having it to return like always and the frustration all this ensues would be completely be different if the first starting point was first there is no mountain. Yes, this is where non-duality comes in. It doesn't try to change the second, third, or fourth stanza. It puts one before it. Yeah. And then
yeah.
you can make a new sense out of the second, third, and fourth stanza. Yes, how
Yeah.
it's worked with me. It was beautiful. There was a missing there was like there was a missing first step that is essential for an understanding. There was just one.
Mhm.
So we were always taking first there is the mountain. Yes. All right. So that which we're dreaming is the reality. I want to get out of that reality. And if you work hard, you may have an experience of seemingly being out of it. But the bitch was the mountain would reappear again all the fucking time. Yeah.
Mm,
But
yeah.
answer to that isn't to go to another stanza, but to go to the before missing stanza, which is first there is no mountain. So you may not want to move anything when the mountain appears, but let's say you do. And then when the mountain disappears, you'll enjoy it, but you won't be fucking taken by surprise when it appears again because you'll know in appearances things appear and disappear. But you'll
Mm,
know it from there is no mountain. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
cool. Yeah, also the other thing I want to say is, do you still have like the meetings on Saturday in person at
Yes.
that one at the temple, or not the temple, that church?
No, we have it at the house here in
Oh,
Nevada.
sweet. I'm
Yeah,
gonna be in San Francisco next weekend for my sister's birthday, so if I have time, I'd love to swing by
come
and
on
touch your
up.
feet.
Yeah, we'll hang out and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
your feet have been looking extra um tantalizing lately.
Right. Well, you better get it while it's hot. You never know what's
Yeah.
going to
All right.
happen.
Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome, man. Thank you. You made my
Adios.
night, actually. All right.
Hey,
Anyone
Paul,
else?
we have Keith has his hand up, and then after that, we have Henry would like to come in and say something.
Oh, yeah. Come
Okay.
on.
Man, I got nothing to say except more gratitude. There's a lot of gratitude flying around here, but God, uh, I'm just so grateful to this message, and just not even sticking with it, but just being around this message and marinating with it for the past like 10 years, and just the past year, like dominoes have been falling, and just the traveling lighter is just incredible. And I'm just so grateful to this message, the hose that is Paul Hedderman, and the message that flies through it is just fantastic. I just wanted to say that.
Well, great. Thank you. I'll put the check in the mail. Well, I like
Yeah.
All right. And Henry. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Henry.
Yeah, Paul, Romano used to teach in silence in the early days, you know that.
Yes.
And when you stopped for a minute and you were listening to your dog, and actually in your silence, in your expression, I felt a little zap, a little transmission. There was something in that pure presence and enjoyment of that moment that resonated with me.
Well, cool. Yes. For those who have eyes to see and ears to hear.
So anyway, it's nice to be here.
Plenty of stuff is going on.
Yeah, it's not always the words, right?
No. The words are just a subterfuge. Yeah, they're just something. Yeah, this is like verbal jazz. You're actually, yeah, there's an intent in there. No one's having it, but there's an intent. It's not the words, obviously.
If you look up behind me, you might see Romana right there.
Oh, yeah. One of the famous pictures, yes. I went to Tiruvannamalai and went to the cave that he lived in or stayed in. That was awesome. And then he had the room he died in or whatever, transferred or what, doesn't matter. Was such a cool, you couldn't go in there, but you could walk. It was a nice little super small granny flat, so to speak. A very nice little thing. And the energy around that cave was like a nuclear reactor. And, you know, it's nice to have people like that in this life. Yeah. To be inspired by. Yeah. I had total respect. Anyone who could wear a diaper his whole life, away with it. I'm like fucking unbelievable. Yeah, it's very cool. So, all right, Henry, thank you. I'm happy you're bringing the presence here. So I'm happy to meet you. Yeah.
I'm trying. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hey, Paul, we have Sean has his hand up.
All right. Yeah, Sean, come on in.
Hey, Paul. Thank you. I don't. So I'm in the program. I'm in AA. I know this is a non-duality meeting, but
Yes.
and I just finished my 4-step, and I'm about to read it. And I've been listening to you speak for a few months now, and the first time I heard it, I was like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" And I guess that's what you're saying is like the head's not gonna get it.
Yes.
But there is this like kind of calmness in knowing that what you're saying is true. But anytime I try to explain this to anyone, I sound fucking crazy. And I find myself getting a little frustrated with myself that like I'm like telling people the message you're telling about, but I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like if I go to AA
That's,
meeting, I say
that's
there is
how it
no
plays
self.
out, though, Sean. It plays out like this, Sean. Yeah, this is not
Right.
unusual. It plays out like this. Yeah.
Okay.
They'll settle down and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. The idea of people not getting it, that's the point, really. See, the message isn't thrown at you. It's at best it's thrown through you. I'm not your mental logic when is not the target. That's the topic that we're talking of in a sense. Yeah. So I've gone through this for years. Yeah. I don't know what this
Yeah.
guy is saying. Everything's going over my head. That's what we're aiming for. Yeah. This isn't about you and me. That's the good news. It isn't. We're the topic that's under discussion. We're not the one who's discussing.
I don't even know what that means.
Uh, there you go. Well, whatever. Whatever. All I know, John, you're in good hands. Yes, and you're a lifetime member of ZenBitSlap.com. There's some hidden benefits that will show up. Yeah, and you can always take refuge here and hang out. Yes, and
Thank you.
speak about it, whatever you want. It sounds like there's some momentum going. Just you know, it's like with surfing. Let's say one of the uh, quality of becoming, let's say, a good surfer is the least amount of paddling. Yeah. So sort of where the wave's going to break, and you try to put yourself there. And then just the wave is there and it has this oomph. It may just ask one or two paddles and then you're in it. Yeah. To paddle while you're in it is pointless. Yeah. Now, and you can feel when the wave has taken over completely. It just feels it, and then you stop, and then there's the ride. Yeah. This is sort of like what it is with this riding the wave of non-duality in a sense, as an understanding. Yeah. Because of the habit, we think we have to paddle and stuff like that. Yes. And all this and all these misunderstandings come into a different contrast, and you actually see them as misunderstandings. You don't see them as another way you failed again. No, they're misunderstandings. And therefore, I've never seen in this life, I've never seen anything bring into stark contrast the misunderstandings that I had or was than non-duality. And it's just beautiful. And then you recognize that you're on the wave already. The paddling is has been over. You're in the wave. It's like the story with the guy with the bag on his head and he's on the train and he still has the bag on his head. No, the train is going to take you and the bag. You put the bag down. This is sort of like the wave of non-duality. They used to have the little joke, you're in the tiger's mouth. Yes, you've heard this message, you're in the tiger's mouth. That pretty assures you're going to be digested by the tiger. If you're in its mouth, there's basically no escape. Yeah, exactly. So just and what you shared is typical, yeah, of the mental logic losing holds, yeah. And then you see its naked grasping, and you don't hand it anything. You just starve it in a sense. And then you see those things that you relied on are not you. And it's beautiful. Yeah. All the getting and grasping hasn't worked. It's not getting anything is beautiful, I feel. So, yep. Thanks, John. So,
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna keep coming back, even though I don't understand what you're
yeah,
saying.
stay sober today and get into that fifth step. You'll see a lot of what you're not through it. Yes, yes. Keep that momentum going, because if the alcoholism or addiction has passed the line, it's a necessity as the action figure, yeah, to have that dealt with. You can That elephant in the room is going to affect every room you go in. Yes. Yeah. So I'm all for supporting you on that endeavor. That's great. Fantastic. You're in the working steps. They're awesome. Get in there. All right. Thank you. And anyone else? Or,
Yeah.
oh, Steve in San Diego, eh?
Hey, Paul.
Hey.
It's great to be here. So for the last few weeks, I got a new sponsor in my program, Overeaters Anonymous, and I got so caught up in the instructions that he gave me that I lost track of this. And so I got through the fifth step with him, and I realized I sort of need to like rewrite it um, from a different viewpoint, and then have somebody who understands non-duality to hear it. Um, Anyway, I'm just so grateful because I keep you keep getting reminded that failure is the path to success, which is every time I try to get this, I don't, and every time I give up, that's when it shows up.
Yeah, and ask, there's on tomorrow, whenever we do another AA thing, on Thursday,
Yeah,
just ask the group. There's a lot of people will
yeah,
be
I'll do
willing to
that.
participate with you. Yes.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hopefully
yeah.
by then I'll have it rewritten. So thank
Yeah.
you.
So yeah, just put it out and then someone will grab it in the chat and there you go.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Anyone?
Yeah.
No?
David, hold on. David put his hand up.
All right, David.
Hey, yeah, wow, good evening. This is great. So there's something which maybe you can expound on, if possible. You mentioned a few times ago that um, this is not something. This is not something that happens. This is not something which is initiated, um, and it happens. So, like for me, that's like the bottom just drops out. It's not an event because it's not something that's initiated because that reinforces the initiator.
Yeah.
But it is something that just happens, and it's like the bottom drops out is the understanding which came to me.
If the bottom drops out, then it wasn't a bottom. See, that's the point. Where would the bottom would have to drop out to a bigger bottom? Yes, this is the beauty of it. So what you think is so isn't so, and it collapses on itself a lot. And so, see, the thing is, you won't get killed by these avalanches. That it's the opposite. Yeah, these avalanches of these ideas and understandings that collapse when the non-duality invitation gets in. You don't ever die in that whatever avalanche. It's awesome. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I've really had an experience of just it's a non-event, and for a moment something just kind of slipped off, and yeah, it's really cool.
Great. Well, you're onto something. Just yeah. Just don't write a menu about it. Just take the house special. So we were in Italy and it was so cool. We had a group of our friends that we were all there in this town called Pescara, and we went to this restaurant like delicatessen in the day, and there was this incredible guy named Claudio, and you knew immediately that you weren't going to be ordering anything. He was going to make something for you. And I remember when I first went in there, he put his hand on my shoulder and there was like an immediate surrender. And he sat me down in this little chair, like, and he started bringing me food out. I told him I was gluten free, and he brought risotto out and everything. And then we went there every day basically for a few weeks, and I don't think we ever ordered anything. He would just make up what he thought. It was so cool. It was so cool. So yeah, this is sort of something's yeah. These things happen, yeah, and sometimes they come in bunches. So you're yeah. things are revealed and whack, whack, whack. But the point is there is no point, obviously. That's probably the point. You'll just see what happens. You know, one day time's going to end, and then whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. The importance of locomotives will be unimportant. All right.
That's like there was another idiom that you use, like when you're seeking, you're always seeking something which is in front of you. You're chasing something, but this thing doesn't budge.
No.
It's like you trip over it. So I thinking you get up in the morning for one more day of seeking, and a half second after your eye opens, you trip over it.
That's great. Yeah. That's in non-duality, that's called taking flight. You trip over it as you are going out to pursue something else. You trip over it. That's taking flight. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, man. Thank you, David. Yes. One time we're going to have to do something, maybe in America or whoever, so we get together, all of us, from the Zoom. Yeah, live. Do a live thing.
Hey,
Yes.
Paul, I don't know if you ever read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but there's a part where people learn how to fly, and they fly by not paying attention and they trip over something. You just talked about taking flight.
Oh, there you go. That's good. But yeah, somewhere down the pike, we're going to have a meeting more available to Zooms. Yeah. So we'll have a little gathering. I want to see what your lower half looks like. I haven't seen it at all. I don't mean, the shoe size or anything. Be interesting. All right. Well, that's it for today, I think. Let's start saying goodbye. Steve in San Diego, yes. Put that thing out when you do rewrite it, and then get on with it. Yes. Very good. Mike Clark in Mexico. I can't take off this turn on reaction thing. I can't see anybody up there. Michael Stacy, Linda from North Carolina, Kerry, our man in Hawaii. Nice to see you, Kerry. Mary Champagne, Judy Lovins, David Lowe. Judy Lovins, I hope I see you when I go back east. So I'll be there in late April. I got to call the people. I got two things, big things going on. All right. I'll let you know, or you'll see it. Jim Elliott, our man in Bondi.
Hey,
Bondi.
Paul, I just want to also add on to the gratitude appreciation list for today.
Well, I
In
appreciate.
general, thank you very much for doing what you do, man.
Well, Jim, right back at you. Yes, very much appreciated. Brian, nice to see you, my friend. Yes. James Parker. Yeah. Marl. Jazzy Tony. Yeah, Jazzy Tony. Lynn. Nice to see you, Lynn. Yep. Mucci, Facet, and Laguna.
Thank you, Paul, for being you.
Hey, nice to see you, Mucci.
You too.
Alan Olson, the man who never got it. Fantastic. Yeah. Mia, one of the sisterhood of Zen Bitslap. Very nice. Mike G. Very nice to see you, Mike. Yep. Dennis. Rob Helma from British Columbia. I have a history with him, which I've tried to forget. I have it washed off.
Could I share a story, Paul? First time I met you.
All right. Yes.
It's quick, but yeah, I'm feeling a lot of gratitude. That story kind of came up. We're sitting in Denise and Joe's living room, Toronto, Ontario, probably 2009, and you had I was sitting in the front row. I guess I got there late, but we were about 2 feet from each other the whole talk, and from the beginning of the talk, you were trying to get out of the talk, I think. Am I done yet? Am I done yet? And I always loved that about you. But then when you finished the talk, you just sat down beside me, and yeah, just, yeah. I don't know. That's the story that's coming up for me. And I think people feel that from you. Yeah, it's the best part of your talk when you say goodbye to people and connect with them. And yeah. So that's my gratitude. I was going to say something nasty about you, but I don't know why I said something nice. But yeah, I just remember that. And yeah, want to send my love to you, bud.
Thank you, Rob. Yeah. Ernie, Eric, and Vista, Susan Harris.
Hey,
Always
thanks so much, Paul.
you're
And
welcome, Eric.
I hope someday to see you again in person.
Oh, yeah.
I screwed up and didn't make it to Joshua Tree, but did my best. Maybe Novato, I've got a nephew up there. If I can somehow arrange it, go up to Bay Area.
The easiest thing is to see me. Getting in touch with me is difficult. Going on Messenger, I never see that. I may not return your call, but if you see me, there you are. Yeah, so we're not hiding in some place. I'm in Novato, California.
Yeah, I haven't had any problems so far, but yeah, there's
Yeah.
something different about the in-person, the energy, and it's kind of amplified or something.
Yeah, it's all good.
Nice.
I've had the pleasure of meeting many of you already. Mike G, I saw a lot in LA. I've seen Eric down here, Susan Harris. I've been lucky to see her here. Esther, I've met. Rob Helmer, we spent a lot of time in Toronto. Kerry, Judy Lovins, Jim Elliott, I haven't seen yet, but I feel like I've seen him. Alan Olson, I've met Alan. Mia, I see Mia. I've got the pleasure to see Mia a lot. James Parker, I saw a long time ago. And yeah, so I've been fortunate. Annette, I haven't seen yet and stuff. And I can't go to the other page, but yeah,
I met
hopefully
you.
we're going to get together sooner or later. We'll have a loose thing somewhere. And we do it in Europe, and then we can do one in America because, yeah, there's a lot of Americans here. Yeah.
What about down under, Paul? Is there a chance?
Yeah, there's always a chance to go to Australia because I really like Australia and the people there. So yes, Australia is yeah, I've sort of lived there for 6 years or so. Spent a lot of time there, and yes, Australia could happen for sure. All right, everyone, good night. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
Paul.
you,
everybody.
Paul.
Thank you,
Thank
Paul.
you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you,
Thanks,
Michael.
Michael. Thank you.